would try and do this in themes. One, we'll deal with the roster first. Any questions on the roster? Then we'll go to commercial, anything for Gareth. That can cover, sponsorship, marketing, branding, and then the third category is pretty much anything else you want to ask. That's probably the scary one, because I don't know what they're going to ask. So, who wants to ask the first question about the roster?
So how many people are you wanting to start the squad with? What sort of number are you looking at so we've got strength and depth?
So I believe the official size of the roster is 20 players, and 15 of them we're looking to have imports. Sometimes teams choose to go with an extra import for flexibility in case of injuries. We're also now working on a British guys as well, because you'll have about 5 of them, whether it's a two-way player or a full-time player. So we're going to fill these positions as well. And again, looking good so far. I think we've got about 7 to go altogether. With a month to go, it's not a bad position to be in. We will make that decision potentially on the 16th import as well. If we get to to 15 and we see there's a bit of money left in the budget, we'll give that little cushion. We are going to hopefully spend a little bit money on the roster this year. The whole point, you can do all your rebranding, you can do all your marketing. End of the day, you need a comparative team on the ice. And we concentrating to have an entertaining team, but you also want to have quality. So it's a bit of a balance that we're trying to work with right now.
Are we going to see a feed?
Are we going to see a feed come through the ages, through the Kestrels, into
that was the whole point.
Chances.
Yeah, that was the whole point of the pathway as well.
Strength as well.
And like if you notice, we're trying to look at local guys first of all as well. You have your Brody case, for example. We try to sign Brody, and we try to be competitive as well. So Brody just chose a different opportunity. Hopefully it works out. You never know. But we're outside the box, and we're giving young kids who some people say maybe they're not ready to play yet. But how do you know?
Exactly.
People try. So they're going to be triple tests.
Over here. So that sort of leads on to my question: is how do you plan on working with the likes of Stephen Wisher and Lee Mercer in bringing the Brits up the rankings?
And that's exactly what that's why we brought Lee on board as well. So he's advising us. He's because I visually haven't seen these kids play. I don't know the landscape, especially in Scottish kids, because I just haven't I've seen some kids around Cardiff because I live in Cardiff, but I don't know the landscape, and that's why we have help from Lee Mercer. We have help with Wisher as well, and we all sit. We have several conversations. What are the best options? How do we place them? So what we're planning to do is actually have a list, for example, from junior Kestrels or from Kestrels, and they recommend players to us who may be worth having a look, and the coach now is going to work with us as well. So we're almost going to have turns of these kids are coming and skating with us, and you actually never know. Some gems might come through, but without trying, you're not going to see them.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of the pathway.
We had one question, and Ryan posted this one to say, will the Brits get regular shifts?
It kind of looks like that, because they don't have a choice. So, we have a couple of defensemen, we have British kids coming out. We're going to announce a couple of kids as well. But also, just because we announce certain guys, it doesn't mean that likes of Kestrels is not going to have a look. That's like I said, that's the whole point. Without trying, we don't see them, and I won't coach to evaluate. So the other thing that we agreed with them, that let's say if they did come on and skate with us, and we see a bit of a potential, but there's a certain area that needs to be addressed. So we're going to go a step further. The coach is going to develop a plan for them. How do you develop? It's no good just seeing a player say, oh, you know what? Yeah, it's just not cutting it. We're going to go a step further to say, these are the little things that you need to work on. Let's transition. Let's give you that plan. And Kestrel is going to be the same page with us, and they will be working on those things with their practice, and then we're going to bring them back again. And that's how you, step by step, try to nurture them into the healthy person.
There he is. I found him. Ali.
I was just wondering if you would look out with the Kestrels. For years, the British guys have been put down. You know, they didn't want them playing basically, and it knocked the heart right out of them. Would you be looking at teams like in the NIHL as well as the Kestrels?
We'll be silly not to look everywhere. End of the day, we want to work with Kestrels, we want to work with local teams, but my job, our responsibility to put the best lineup possible on the ice for Five Flyers as well. So if we have a talent from Ireland, I mean, it doesn't matter. We'll invite, you're a British kid, you're going to get a chance no matter where you're from. But why wouldn't we use what we have on our doorstep as well? So that's our priority.
At the moment, there's none of them really good enough to come up. There was one guy
Never
that
give
he's
it a
already been
chance.
snapped up.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. We're going to get them involved. Without getting people involved, you're never going to get better. So they're going to have turns by recommendation from the bottom who can potentially make that step. They're going to get tried out. But without seeing and giving somebody a chance, you actually don't know.
One of the questions sent in was from Eileen, who said it's good to see Flyers using the local community once again. And she was interested about Michael Coates being announced as your video strategy coach. What was it that brought him to your attention?
Yeah, so Michael's going to come on in the video. Statistician, analysis. He's got, I called him, I think in my reviews, the Swiss knife. Mike worked with Dundee last year. I spoke to a few people in Dundee, you spoke to a couple of players as well. And he proved himself useful with video analysis, people coming up to him, using his ability to, for example, cut clips to bring value. We always look for value. And Mike quickly gave us value straight away when he got involved with us. In fact, he recruited a couple of British players. He recruited one of the imports, actually, who we signed. So Mike has value. And this is going back to what we were just talking about, pathways. Without giving someone a chance, how do you know? So Mike is going to come in as an assistant coach. Is he going to be an actual assistant coach telling players what to do right off the bat? Realistically, not. But he's worked with me and the coach for the past 2 months. And coach asked me if he can mentor him. Because his ambition is to become assistant coach, maybe a head coach one day. Gareth, you started, as a volunteer, as a kid. You started somewhere. Scotty Bowman, who was coaching for Detroit Red Wings, he never played hockey. And he's one of the best coaches ever. How do you know?
Yeah.
All I can tell is so far, Mike brought tremendous value for us and was very helpful. So he's going to come on sort of an apprenticeship kind of position to be mentored and then help out in many other areas of the club as well. He's going to get involved in.
One other question was, your Vice President Felix has been part of many ECHL teams. Is he key to bringing in imports to the coaches in trade?
He's trying it, but he's leaving it to being coach, so to speak. He's very interested. We run guys past them. End of the day, I think owners gotta approve players a lot of the times, but it's definitely up to the new coach. And in fact, they're a collaborative group of people. We are. Gareth recommended several players who ended up, signing. Michael we just talked about. We welcome opinions from everybody. We're not, we're very much open door. Why wouldn't we take opinions? And if we don't like them, we might not use them. But at least we want to hear as many of them as possible.
I think we all see the value of 2 import goalies in the modern game. However, one of them sitting on the bench, taking an import slot, can seem a bit negative sometimes. Is there any drive to get a British goalie to fill that position?
Absolutely. 2 import goalies is not something that you would want to do by default. Knowing, how difficult the travel and schedule is nowadays in ECHL, the demand on the starting goalie, you need a strong second option. Do we have, if we, for example, had an opportunity to decide Bounds, for example, who plays for GB, who can, start you 15, 20 games. We just don't have that level of British player available when we took over. Again, and this is the whole thing, we didn't have that much to work with in terms of timing. So having Shane, we knew that we need someone to start 15 to 20 games potentially. And that's what the decision was. It's almost have left me with no choice. So the first part of the sort of the answer is we're going to involve two British, at least one, maybe even two British goaltenders in a two-way deal who will come on. And that will potentially allow us sometimes actually not to ice two import goaltenders. So the British goaltender will back up and potentially jump in if he has to. That will allow then us to field an extra import skater if we sign 16 imports. And that is not out of the question. That's something that is almost like a mitigation action that we could and maybe will take. So it's an awkward one, but you have to play around with it, and that's what we have. But the plan is to nurture a British goaltender to then be able potentially start in games. We have capable goaltenders who can jump in, and play minutes, but do we have somebody who can play 15, 20 games to start? We just don't have that in our arsenal right now.
If the crowds go up, because it is a sleeping giant, we all know that. It's been run down for whatever reason. If the crowds come back up, which I would anticipate, because when they went in the big league, the crowds doubled, or maybe even more, and that will happen again. And it will depend on the results, how you go from there. So if the results, say you finish halfway in the league or whatever, and you were competitive, and you were making a bit more money, obviously we'd be looking at more imports for cover for injury. Would that be right?
Well, the priority will be the stability of the club. Okay, so if the books are balanced and we actually, I'm not even saying making money, it's just we're looking for stability. Like I said in the very beginning, I don't think these guys are here for a quick buck. They love hockey. They're almost like a hockey nerds, if you will. But if we are doing really well with the crowds, we will be looking at addressing things like, the acoustics or the parking lot potentially. But first of all, we will be investing in the lineup, and anything that we kind of generate will be recycled. And it's not like even if the club is profitable, nobody become millionaires. Believe me, from sports business is just not that. I think people are just looking to fulfill their passion, making a club or a business stable, and then build on that. And if we can build on that, it's 100% going in the lineup, because then you start climbing. All of a sudden, you're a regular playoff team. All of a sudden, you're halfway up the table, and that's the inspiration.
That would settle. A lot of people would settle for that right now. Quite honest.
That's the vision.
Are you going to bring a fitness coach on board for the players?
Right now, there is no fitness coach, I should say, on the books. But we are looking for somebody potentially who's willing to do it on a voluntary basis to start with. And then again, if we have the resources, then it will 100% be implemented. It's a modern game. I mean, we can't really do much without it at the moment anyway. But it's tying up screws in different areas of the club whenever we can. When we have, but priorities right now is bringing in full lineup, sponsors, making it stable.
Well, let's move on to the commercial side, the marketing side. If there are other questions come up to you about the roster, give us a shout, because we'll have time at the end. So marketing, sponsorship, developing the fan base, Gareth. Before we go to the floor, you've used the theme, the kingdom, in all your branding. And this is quite key to your messages, isn't it?
Yeah, I think just looking at hockey clubs around the UK now, you've got to get your marketing right, your engagement right with your fan base. Like I'm a big fan of what Nottingham are doing at the moment. They're doing a great job with the social media and the marketing. We've got to get that right. I appreciate the teams in Kirkcaldy. We discussed it at length about Max mentioned before, we've got a group of people that we'll talk about, and it's a team from Fife. It's a team for everybody, so it isn't just about Kirkcaldy, it's about the surrounding areas. So we're focused on the kingdom, being the kingdom of Fife, and that's been the focus. So we're trying to, there's going to be various different areas that we'll look at for getting new people in, which is tried and tested, which is the schools programme. Social media now is so big, we'll have to spend a bit of money on doing social media marketing, it works really well at other clubs. But the most important thing is word of mouth. I've found that for years, if you have a good night, you go away entertained, and you ask a friend to come along, you play the biggest part. Word of mouth is so important, so if you go into work or to school or whatever, and you had a great night on Saturday night, I saw a fight and the Flyers won. Perfect, that's the best part of it. So, you guys have all got a part to play, and branding and marketing's so important now. It's I'm a traditionalist as well. I'm a hockey fan, but in such a tough market, you're competing. Whether people like it or not, you're competing against Strictly Come Dancing on a Saturday night. People go to the cinema. People go and just sit at home watching a movie on Netflix. There's a lot of competition out there for money, for secondary spend, for disposable income. So we've got to think of ways of getting people to come to games, new people. But most importantly is keeping you guys engaged with what we're trying to do, and that's what we'll be doing.
Thank you. So just mentioned about the community aspect as well. The Flyers have obviously had big relationships with the likes of Chaz and the Hive as well for the Pride sport in the past. Is there any plans to continue these community relationships, and is there plans to expand on them as well?
Yes, 100%. We will be sticking with Chaz. We're not going to be moving away from that. I've said. In fairness to Tom here, it's one of the things that he asked me. He said, "Can you continue that relationship with Chaz?" And I said, "Of course." Obviously, I've been aware of it. It's a long-term partner here. In terms of pride and things like that, I think one thing you'll get with me is I'm very forward-thinking. You've probably seen that over the years in Glasgow. So we will, we'll engage with lots of different programmes. We've got a plan. I don't know if Max is aware of this, but I'm just about to tell him. We've got a plan to launch a Fife Flyers charity, which will drive the community engagement side of the business. Where there's quite a few clubs who've got them. I think they're called community foundations in England. Cardiff have got one, I believe. We've just set one up in Glasgow last year, a charity, and that will engage the whole community engagement side. From after-school programmes, school visits, obtaining funding for doing various different things. So that's part of the plan. Won't happen overnight, but it is a medium and long-term project.
What about the fan sponsorship packages? There's lots of support your favourite players, sign and get a shirt. Are there changes to that coming this year?
Yeah, well, you've probably seen that we changed the player sponsorship package to one and one. Tried to make it when I first came in, I wasn't quite, I'm not saying comfortable, but I wanted to change that up a little bit, so that's why we brought the one and one packages in, just to make it a little bit cheaper for fans to have that access. But also, it's opened a new avenue for us for player sponsorship with companies. So, in theory, with our projections, we're gonna pretty much double the money, the revenue that the club was previously making. At the moment, I don't want to do too much because obviously it's late in the summer. We've got enough on our plates at the moment. But any ideas that anybody has about like fan packages, there's plenty out there that I've seen over the years. I'm very open to them, but we just don't want to keep going back to the same pot of money all the time, if you know what I mean. So I'm conscious of that as well.
I'll take it.
Was that an agent on the phone? Any questions? Yep, the one at the back here. Ali's off.
Maybe more on the commercial side of it. The shop at the back of the stands is tiny. Is there any ways of making it bigger when you've got the museum out the front that's constantly empty, used as a storage ground, or potentially as a pop-up shop down the high street coming for Christmas time, stuff like Wraith Rovers football team, they usually do that every year. it's ways of getting it out in the public as well, more people seeing it, and hopefully bringing in more money to the club.
100%. Max knows how I'm going. I brought Max into the rink today and I was like, look at this shop. It's empty in the front. Didn't I today? I said, yeah, like merchandise is so important these days for club revenue. You know, I think the guys, the ownership, like the merchandise, don't they? We've already been talking about it quite a bit. So that's part of the rebrand, and we've got some ideas for new merchandise. It's really important, like as you say, Christmas time, like a pop-up shop locally we'll be looking at, because we're really, you know, I don't want to talk too much about money because it's not what you're here for, but we'll have to get our revenues up, and merchandise is one of them. It's so important. And in fairness to what's gone in the past, they've done a great job. I've seen what they've been doing. I've heard all the stories, and people have been volunteers that have been doing it, which I was quite taken back by. And they've done a fantastic job, Ruth and Pam, over the years and doing stuff. So we just need to grow on that, build on it. We're going to launch a new online shop soon, I believe. Yes, it's forward, isn't it? So with a focus on various different, you know, products, and we've got a big market. Like we found this at the clan. We've got a big market in North America that we're not tapping into at the moment. People in North America love Scotland. And we found that you can sell a lot of merchandise in North America, especially to hockey fans, so we will be looking at that as well.
Got another one up here.
Gareth, a couple of questions for you. First one is, we've been trying to book match night sponsors, especially against your old team, and we were told that you're not ready there yet, and you've kind of explained that you're busy trying to pull the roster together. And the second one was, are we planning to fly the guys to some games so they're not burnt out coming back to Belfast or Guildford or Cardiff?
Firstly, this is the first question there. If you do want to sponsor a game, drop us an email. Commercial. Rest assured, we'll get back to you. Rest assured, we've got a lot on our plate at the moment. We will get back to people. It's just we've got a lot on our plate at the moment. Revenue is my job, so you will get a response. In terms of flying guys to games this year, we won't be doing it this year. The reason being is it's we've got to get a grasp of where the business is at. The club, as it is right now, probably isn't a viable concern, if I'm honest. In fairness to Tom Ue's been propping it up for quite a bit of time. So we need to get our head around how we're going to make it work, how we're going to get our revenues up, and we need to control our costs in the first year. If we can get the revenues up, which the plan is to, then yes, we will be looking at making life easier for the guys, keeping them in hotels overnight, flying them to games. It's part of a bigger project and a longer process, but it's for us, it's we want to make life as easy for the guys. We want them to win games, and if that helps them, so be it. So be it. Yeah. Max has just mentioned there. We've got the double header. I think it's in January, February. Yeah. Thank Max. That's Max. But it's we're trying. Yeah. I think people notice at the moment we've got a game pretty much every Saturday and Sunday night, and that's very much focused on cash flow. We need cash revenue coming into the business until we get a better understanding of where it's at. And then in future seasons, if we work out, this is working, we can generate more money, then we'll do more double headers, and we'll do more double weekends at home.
Will you be having a meeting with the volunteers from past years that sort of start up the first year, that know what they're doing, and the 50-50, the chuck up, the shirt off the back, things like that? Will that be getting involved?
Yes, to answer the question. It's on my list. I just need to find a bit of time to actually get it organised, but yes, I will be meeting with all the volunteers at some point to talk about 50-50, sales shirt off the back, everything that goes on the game, like the guys on the bench and everything. So yeah, we'll be getting that organised.
So we go get that changed, because they seem to be coming in onto the ice and the lights is off. What's the point? can we get the guys introduced like what we see all around the league? They get named with a spotlight rather than just black.
That ties into the question that came in saying the match night is extremely poor and tired for a long time. How can we improve it?
Well, that's actually an interesting question. That's something we want to improve, but I actually not 100% sure what's been happening in the past. So something that I want. So what's happened? Is it complete darkness?
No, they walk round the corner.
Yeah. Oh, what's right?
Just walk round the corner. Just a jumbotron. That's it. Darkness. And then
Yeah, I'd like a spotlight, for example.
Yeah.
I'd like some, a smoke machine.
I was just wondering if we can get some pyrotechnics out the plan.
Your part? You didn't tell me that. I think he's been saving that for the rainy day. Yeah, again, we haven't got there. And then when we sat there before this whole takeover happened and looked at, when I went to that last game and I knew, the match night was stale. Like it was just kind of, the speaker system doesn't help, so you can't really do anything with that. That was one of the very first things. We said, we can do this and we can do that. We're hopefully going to get to it. And things like, like you mentioned, we need to do something. We need to create the atmosphere. We need goosebumps going, because the crowd is here. The people want to see it. They're hungry for it. It's just not been happening. But we're definitely going to be looking at it. But again, one thing at a time. Please, please, please be patient with us.
Yeah, yeah, it took me years to get pyros in Glasgow. It's expensive. It's not cheap. It comes down to revenue again. That's probably why I haven't brought it up. Again, over time, and if we can improve the club and the revenue come to the club, it's definitely something we'll look at. It's about progress and gradually improving things without a doubt.
One of the things we need to do is when we're at the gate, when they cut the ice, we've had previous ways, we've had figure skaters on, we've had the kids come on. I think we need more of that, and that's going to then bring the local talent in that we can see, and it's going to make the night, and that's going to then bring people in and bring in revenue. So we need to look at that and fill these gaps after the ice has been cut.
That's funny you mentioned that. I think Tom, one of the owners, he's big on that kind of thing, and that's what he's good at. And he mentioned that from the moment you can walk into that parking lot, not our parking lot, but just shot myself in the foot there, didn't I? If you don't break an ankle. The rest of the experience, right for 2.5 hours, you should be entertained. You should be entertained, whether it's the hockey game, whether it's the next thing, even Tom mentioned, can we have a band playing? Something. There's so many things we can do, and we want to look at it. We will look at it. But ultimately, ideas can come from you. Like you say, you just threw a couple of good ideas there, but how do you get people engaged? And this is what my job is to put a team where, hopefully, win or lose, by the time you go home, you walk out of that building and say, holy man, that was a game. And that's what I'm trying to do.
One of the questions was, what inspired the change of team colours?
I think it's one of those, now or never. Again, this club's been going for so long. And, Tom's been running. Tom's been doing a good job. He's kept the club for so long. But I just think if you don't do it now, when do you try it? We're trying to put, and that, to me, the original logo probably would never go. I think that's just the identity of the club. And all we thought we would do is just spruce it up, make it a little bit more modern, put a modern spin on it, if you will. Maybe a fresh, a bit of color. It's still blue. The club, I think, had different colors before as well. I'm going to pass. They had something like a Five Flyers logo, even. I think they tried to do different things, and we just thought, what? If it's not now, like when? Hopefully, you'll have them. The merchandise. Hopefully, it will stick. You never know. If we hate it, you can always go back. but why not try something slightly different, something more modern, something more fresh? So that was the kind of thought behind it.
A very practical one. When's the coach arriving?
With the players. Maybe a week before, I would have thought. But yeah, you'll be somewhere around then.
And one of the questions that was asked was that on social media, some fans have been blocked. There's been a lot of criticism on social media. It comes with the territory. Is there any plan to start afresh with a clean slate?
I haven't had that conversation, but it's good food for thought, I guess. But we also have to be careful. What's the reason? Why is the people been blocked? If you want to open up the old can of worms. So here you go. You had your answers. But yeah, it's something. I gotta be honest with you. We didn't really chat about that much, but
yeah. Social media is so important for hockey clubs these days. Like any sports club, it's been one of the best things, in my opinion, that's ever happened for the sport. It's really opened the engagement side. It's helped us all sell tickets. But the downside of it is it's allowed people direct access to the club at times that people can hide behind a name. We rest assured, we all know how passionate people are. They want the team to do well. They want the best. They want to see the team win. We want that as well. I think it was the year that we want that as well. And I think sometimes there's a line on social media that people need to be really careful about. There's a lot of good people in this hockey club that are behind the scenes, and a lot of them are volunteers. And I just ask people, please, to keep in mind when you're on Facebook or Twitter or whatever Exodus is now from the age, and Instagram. Please just keep in mind that there's a person behind that account, and they're generally doing it as a volunteer. We know when the team's not very good or crap, and when you've lost the game, we know people are not happy. We're not happy. Like we're probably the most unhappy people around. But just please remember that there's people behind those accounts, and we're doing everything we can to be the best and do the best. Just always keep that in mind, please.
Any questions from the floor just before we come close to checking out time? Alec?
Is there any advantage of being a season ticket holder for the club? They don't get anything extra apart from the discount that they get for the ticket. Are they not aware they can get in to another gate to let them in when it gets busy? Somewhere else there are plenty of doors I'm sure they can go in, and they've all got a barcode on their tickets. I'm sure it wouldn't be a hardship to let season ticket holders in another door.
That's been an argument.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I think just talking about the season ticket advantages, I suppose, like, as you mentioned, you got your discount. You've probably seen that we're doing the 2 Bring a Buddy games again this year, which we'll announce, I think, probably in the next 2 weeks. We've got the 20% off for the merchandise as well, which is a great deal. We've got some other incentives that we're going to be implementing probably initially over the next 2 weeks, and then in longer term. So we're going to be launching soon a very good season ticket holders only jersey. Because I know I've seen other clubs do that, so we'll be doing that. Longer term, we've got some other plans that we're going to implement. Again, it's just we're not in a position right now to do it. I quite like the idea about the door. That's a great idea. We'd have to have a chat with them about that and see how that would work, but it's a great idea. As I say, like, we're open to ideas like this. You guys know more than us what's gone on in the past, so we're very much open to that.
Okay, I saw 2 hands up. There's one in this area. Ah, there you are. There you are.
And there's one right behind you as well.
I don't think I want to park it.
Priority parking.
It's like potholes.
And a valley as well.
Gareth, this is about the fans. I mean, I've noticed that all the productions that you've been doing online are very good, and they've been quite focused at the fans. But it's the fans over the years that's been badly let down by this club. And what I would like you and the club to actually give a guarantee to the fans that you'll be open, honest and transparent with us at all times. Because the way we've been treated in the past with the previous management, which I mentioned this at one of the meetings we had about 5 years ago, the fans are like mushrooms in the dark. We know nothing of what goes on. But as you say, you've got a new regime, we're all enthusiastic, and that guarantee would go a long way.
I just wanted to ask a question. So far, what do you think? So have we answered? I think that's the whole point of calling this Q&A to address exactly what you're saying. And if we need to do this Q&A on a monthly basis, then so be it. And so far, you can ask any question you want, and that's one of the visions for the club is, this is your club. Yeah. Without, it's pointless. The club doesn't exist, any sport, without the fans. So the way we see it, it's your club, and we're trying to apply our way of running it. And if it doesn't work, we'll step aside. If anybody else has a better way of running the club, you're welcome to do it. But we're going to try, and we're going to be open with you, and you can ask any questions you want, and we'll give you an answer with it. And I think even sometimes Gareth's got a tough job answering financial questions, and sometimes it's not popular. But I'd rather say the truth rather than just skirt under the carpet and say everything's going to be great. It's not going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be Disneyland all the way from here. I don't know, but we are definitely going to try our best. That's all I can tell you.
Ali, sorry, quickly, Ali, I'll just jump on that. I think the communication side is so important. Like we've heard, I've seen it here, what's been going on over the years, and I think as long as we can improve the communication, which we're already trying to do, the transparency, we cannot be transparent all the time because there's certain things that we can't tell you. It's just that's the fact of run the business. But we'll be as open and honest as we can at times, as Max said. You'll see us around the ring all the time. We'll be there at games. People are quite welcome to come up and have a chat with us. We're human as well. Don't be afraid of coming and having a chat. But I think one area that I really wanted to improve was, getting the information out to you guys. Like the website's a little bit underutilized now. More I encourage you that are doing our socials and PRs at the moment. They're doing a great job, but we just need to step up to that next level.
Okay, have a at the back. Hi there. What I would like to see is maybe once or twice a season an open session where fans can come along and watch the team training and watch the practice. This is how we prepare for the games at the weekend.
That's every club does that. So you guys don't do that? So. No, I think that's a great point. I think most of the clubs that, especially in this country, or even abroad when we have that, they do once or twice these kind of nights. So we, it's on the list. It's on the Excel spreadsheet. It's a big spreadsheet you've got. Ali?
See back to the match night experience. We got the big screen a few years back. I don't think we're making the most of it. We're going to have an entertainer in, and Mr. Hunt that's coming in the new signing tonight, so it would be good to get live playback during the games. And also, I noticed the Clan doing it when players went into the sin bin, they got the dungeon sign kind of around them. I felt that was really good, it's entertaining.
Yeah, no, I'm totally agree with it. I wanted the scoreboard in Glasgow for years, and I was always told we couldn't have one. And then the new owner came in and said, "Yep, okay, you can have one." And that, I think weeks before I'd seen Fife had put that scoreboard out. In fairness, it's a great setup. I was really impressed with it when I saw it go. But I'm totally with you. We need to utilise it a lot more. it's hard work getting that working together. You know, people know who are around the club. It's a lot of hard work and time to get that running, but it's definitely something I want to do. It's part of the improving that match night experience and having, you know, Sally's up there when a player scores a goal. If a guy goes into the sin bin penalty box, it's up there. It's part of that experience that we need to ramp up to the next level. So yeah, I agree.
If I'm not mistaken, I've been told there's an issue with the score. It's got the ability to do that, but I don't believe there's a stable enough, like a Wi-Fi connection, I believe, to do that.
No. Sorry, I feel like I can speak knowledgeably about this. That's not the problem.
Wait, can you expand?
Yeah, it's bodies. It's bodies and
so it's not the equipment.
No, it's definitely not the equipment. There's a lack of equipment, but it's not the equipment.
Ali's absolutely right, because in Glasgow they've got a team of 4 or 5 people just running the scoreboard, from what I can recall. So it's a team of people. It's like, you run it like a mini TV studio. So it's like it is resource. So we'll have to have like that.
Just think.
There's one.
I'm saying my box.
Stay in your box.
Hi there, just about the sound. The sound originally, when they put the microphone, the jumbotron up, was excellent, and then it disappeared on our side. Surely it's just a connection problem of some sort?
Potentially some acoustics, like tuning, something to do with tuning, so potentially maybe just moved out of place. Like I saw, and this is just this little stage, right? And I saw the guys muck around, for an hour, 2 hours, trying to get rid of different feedback and different echoes. It's quite a complicated thing. So again, we're going to be speaking to Tom. We already started the conversation about the sound system, and he thinks it's all a matter of either replacing or doing the whole shebang. But again, maybe there's an acoustics doctor that can come in and play around with it, or acoustic whisperer that we can find that can hopefully fix it for us. But 100% something needs to be done. And we looking into it, what potentially could be done.
Any more questions? Oh, way at the back.
Oh, come on. Did you not sat at the front?
That's a different postcode up there. He's made it.
Hold on, this has just been built up as being the best question of the night, so here we go.
No, you're just talking about the social media side and media. Can you not approach the local colleges for like people that are doing film or things like that? Same thing.
Yeah, no, I'm in the process of working on a deal at the moment to re-engage with the university deal, which you're probably aware of that you had in the past with Aberdeen, yeah. So we've kind of made it a priority that we need to get our university spots back, just for recruitment. And part of that agreement will be that we'll be engaging with the university for interns, so whether that's marketing, social media, finance, anything that people want to get a bit of experience in from the university, will be doing that. We're quite close to hopefully signing that off, but I think we'll wait for people to come back from holiday at the moment before that gets finalised. But yes, it's a good point, good idea.
And you and your hold on.
So what would be the first entrance song, like going onto the ice?
Killer question. What's the entrance theme tune going to be?
We walked around the ring today, actually. Looks like might not even have the entrance for the players. Apparently, there's a new what's a concession stand right on the way where the players walk out. So that's something that was surprise to me today. But so we'll have to figure that one out. That was probably the hardest question of the night. So it's either people getting the concessions or the players walking on there. So we're going to take a priority. I know we need money, but players will be getting their drinks.
I think the question was also, what about the theme tune? What's the?
Well, that's my son asked me that. So I need to look. Is there a historical theme tune that we've played? Is there something we attach to, or are we welcome to change it? Change.
You have an idea of what you'd want it to be.
Do you have one in mind? You better send it in to Gareth into inquiries email, please.
free from desire.
Nice. All right, that's not a bad option. It's a good starting option. Well done. Thank you.
We're getting pretty close to the final time. One question that came in was define success. What's your aim for success this year? Is it top 5? Is it playoffs? How will you define this season as a success?
Playoffs.
I think to be competitive, it's to whether we make the playoffs or not, but to be in the hunt.
Yeah.
Hopefully, up until that last game, either make the playoffs or be right there trying to win and keep the crowd in it. If we out by Christmas, then again it's just it's difficult, isn't it? So that's the aim, and I think again, just with anything that we can, it's the theme today, isn't it? Incremental growth. It's easy to say, you know what, we're going to be mid-table, we're going to win championships, but that's not how we that's not how we look at things. I think as long as we make that incremental improvements every day, whether it's on the financial side, whether it's the match night, whether it's the results on the ice, I think we're all winning.
And just a question from...
Beat the clown.
Well, we have a spy, don't we?
James, did you get Gareth's reaction to that? We're sending it to them. There's been a lot of talk about fan engagement and how it's all about the fans and the importance of having the fans on board. Are you engaging with the official supporters club? Is that figuring in your plans at the moment, and what are those plans going to be?
For me personally, I'm just learning about the landscape, about the politics, and I don't know that much about it. On a small scale, I'm answering, people can contact me. Well, I want to open that can of worms, people can talk to me because I was getting them on. But I would rather, it'll be much more controlled if we go through the official kind of routes.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to work on this other stuff, and it's not humanly possible to answer it. So I'm hoping we go through official, controlled way of engaging, and that way we can actually give a structured answer, rather than I'm answering something that potentially I don't have knowledge to, and then I'm going to upset somebody, maybe to give the wrong answer. So if we go through the official side, so what's the best way of doing this? To engage with us? Through the inquiries, emails, for example, or if you message the official on social media, right, Facebook, then we can all see the question, and the best person placed to answer can answer that. Otherwise, it gets a little bit more political. I don't know the history as well, so
I guess the question was kind of about once you get into the season, and once things are up and running, because there has been an official fan club in the past. So how you're going to encourage that, how you're going to work with them.
Yeah, I think we've said numerous times the focus at the moment is just getting the team on the ice, and that has to be the priority right now. It's the supporters club is. I am talking to people at the supporters club at the moment. My mindset, I appreciate that this might not go down well with some, but our focus at the moment is probably keeping the status quo. And the reason for that is obviously we're new to the club. I want to get an idea of what's going on around the club, just listen to different opinions, get a feel for what's going on. As I've said before, volunteers are so important. A lot of these people running supporters club are volunteers, doing it in their own time, getting a lot of heat for stuff that isn't necessary at times. But I think from our mindset, the OSC supporters club is going to be absolutely pivotal to the future of the club. They're so important to hockey clubs these days. For various different reasons, I've got plans for more events for the fans, and that's where the OSC come into play. Yeah, I know you didn't have. I think you had an end of season party at the rink last year. But, I think we want to bring things back, like a Christmas party for the fans, an end of season party, a Halloween party. It all feeds back into getting you guys engaged, getting you back involved with the club that you love, and the supporters club's got a huge part of playing that, absolutely huge part of playing that.
Excellent. Folks, we're getting close to the end here. First of all, thank you very much for all your questions. They've been absolutely fabulous. I will also say thanks to Gareth and Max. Just before we sign off, Max, can you sum up tonight what have you learnt from it? Probably a hell of a lot. What's your thoughts now? You've got 4 or 5 weeks of the season to go. Can you sum up where you are and how things are going?
I know I've been crying wolf, didn't I, at the stage today, saying how we don't have time. You know, it's going to be slow. It's potentially going to be bumpy. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, not only in this room, but throughout the last, like as you mentioned, 50 days, 60 days, to giving us that confidence that the fan base is here. And they're not going anywhere, and they're going to support us. And that's one area we're not concerned about. That, you know, these people are passionate, knowledgeable, and they deserve better times for the club. So I just wanted to say thank you for not only coming in tonight, but so far, what you guys done.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That kind of brings us to the end of the night. The guys are going to hang around. You're very welcome to stay, chat to them, come up and say hello. They'd love to meet you. Can I just say a few thank yous? First of all to Ali for doing all the running around and all the questions and all this help putting this together. Thanks to John and Joe and to Stu. There'll be a lot of guys putting this together very, very quickly. But above all, thank you first of all to Gareth Chalmers and to Max Birbraer.
And I just want to say a thank you to James and Cara who've been videoing this. So the people that couldn't make it tonight will be able to obviously watch this. And Derek and Ben, the photographer. My goodness, I've learnt a name on the night tonight. So they're there for tonight as well.